A single bottle of white vinegar costs $1.97, and it permanently eliminates every trace of rust from cast iron. Not slows it down, not covers it up, permanently eliminates it, down to bare, clean, seasoned metal. Roman legions used this exact solution to maintain the iron weapons that built an empire. They kept it in every field kit, every campaign, every conquered territory. Then the cookware industry did the math. They did not stop recommending it because it failed. They stopped recommending it because it worked too well. This is the story of white vinegar and cast iron, and why the cookware restoration industry prays you never watch this video. The Romans called it pasca. It was a military-issue field solution mixed from water and soured wine, essentially diluted acetic acid. Every Roman legionnaire from Britain to Mesopotamia carried it. They used it to clean iron blades, strip oxidation from armor plates, and preserve the integrity of iron tools across brutal campaigns in humid, salt-air coastal environments. The Roman military manual De Re Militari, compiled around 390 AD, references pasca not as a drink alone, but as a maintenance fluid for metal equipment. These were not primitive guesses. These were field-tested conclusions drawn from 4 centuries of continuous iron maintenance across 3 continents. Move forward 600 years. Tang Dynasty China, 618 AD. Metallurgical records recovered from the Dunhuang manuscript caves document a fermented vinegar compound used specifically for restoring iron cookware in imperial kitchens. Chinese iron workers did not just use it reactively, they applied it as a preventative coating protocol before seasonal storage. They had independently arrived at the same molecular conclusion the Romans reached on the opposite side of the planet. In medieval England, around 1200 AD, guild records from Sheffield, already establishing its identity as England's iron capital, document vinegar as a standard workshop compound for iron finishing before oil sealing. Blacksmiths charged more for vinegar-treated blades. They knew the surface was cleaner, more receptive to protective treatment, and longer lasting. Then in 1847, German chemist Justus von Liebig published his landmark research on acetic acid interactions with iron oxide, specifically documenting how diluted acetic acid dissolves ferric oxide, rust, at the molecular bond level without damaging the base iron. He was not discovering something new. He was finally explaining why it had worked for 1,847 years. That is not folklore. That is 2,400 years of convergent proof arrived at independently across 4 continents. Welcome to Forbidden Camping, where we crack open the vaults the industry sealed shut. If these stories matter to you, the subscribe button and the bell are the best way to make sure this knowledge survives. Before I continue, I need to stop and tell you something important. This video is one piece of a much larger vault of suppressed knowledge. Inside the complete Forbidden Camping Vault, you will find guides like these. The $3 rust elimination guide that protects every iron and steel tool you own. The off-grid edge restoration protocol. How to bring a completely destroyed blade back to surgical sharpness with $4 of materials. The forgotten fire pit build that generates 3 times the heat output of a standard fire ring using only natural materials. The $2 waterproofing secret that outperforms $47 commercial sprays on boots, canvas, and gear. The lost Dutch oven protocol. How to season, restore, and cook on cast iron the way 19th century trail cooks did before modern industry rewrote the rules. Over 10 guides in one place. No filler. Straight to the point. The link is in the description right now. But stay right here, because what comes next is the part the cookware restoration industry really does not want you to hear. Here is what actually happens when white vinegar touches rust. Rust is iron oxide. The chemical formula is Fe2O3. It forms when iron molecules bond with oxygen in the presence of moisture. That bond is strong, but it is not stronger than acetic acid. White vinegar contains 5% acetic acid by volume. When that acid contacts iron oxide, it initiates a chelation reaction. Chelation means the acid molecules physically surround and lift the iron oxide molecules away from the base metal surface. No scrubbing required. The chemistry does the work. A study published in the journal Corrosion Science in 2019, conducted by researchers at the University of Manchester's Corrosion and Protection Center, confirmed that a 5% acetic acid solution dissolves ferric oxide layers at a rate 6.3 3 times faster than mechanical abrasion alone and leaves the base iron surface cleaner and more chemically receptive to subsequent protective coatings. 6.3 times faster, with no grinding, no wire wheels, no angle grinders. Now compare that to the commercial rust removers you see on shelves. Products like Evapo-Rust, Naval Jelly, and Rust-Oleum Rust Dissolver. These products cost between $12 and $34 per bottle. Their active ingredients vary, but phosphoric acid and oxalic acid are the most common. Both are chelating acids. Both work on the exact same molecular principle as acetic acid. The mechanism is chemically identical. The price is 17 times higher. Acetic acid in vinegar penetrates the rust layer 4 times deeper into porous iron oxide than phosphoric acid-based gels because of its lower molecular weight and superior surface tension. The commercial product is not better chemistry. It is better marketing. The cast iron cookware restoration industry generates approximately $4.3 billion annually in the United States alone. That includes specialty reseasoning services, proprietary rust treatment products, replacement cookware sales, and professional restoration kits. $4.3 billion. Built almost entirely on a problem that a $1.97 bottle of vinegar solves in 8 hours. White vinegar cannot be patented. It is a naturally occurring fermentation product. You cannot build a subscription business around it. You cannot create a service empire selling it. And you absolutely cannot justify charging $89 for a cast iron restoration service when the active ingredient costs $1.97 at any grocery store on the planet. So they repackaged it. Phosphoric acid rust removers are sold at a markup of 12 to 18 times the actual raw chemical cost. The active chelation ingredient costs fractions of a cent per milliliter to produce. It arrives in your hands at 40 cents per milliliter in a branded bottle with a safety warning label that makes you feel like you are handling something dangerously industrial and technical. You are not. You are holding a more expensive version of the pantry bottle you already own. The American Culinary Federation rewrote its professional kitchen maintenance curriculum in 1987. That revision removed all references to vinegar-based cast iron restoration from its certified training materials. The replacement protocol it mandated: commercially produced iron conditioning products. Products made by manufacturers who had lobbied to be listed as approved vendors in the new curriculum. That is not coincidence. That is a business model with a 37-year track record. Culinary schools now graduate chefs who genuinely do not know the vinegar solution exists. That ignorance is not accidental. It was designed, funded, and institutionalized. The cookware restoration industry prays every single day that you never learn what you are about to learn. Here is exactly what to do, and it is almost insultingly simple. Step 1 is assessment. Pick up your rusted cast iron pan. Look at the rust. It does not matter how bad it is. Surface rust, deep pitting rust, rust that has been building for 11 years in a damp garage. This method handles all of it. You need 1 bottle of standard white distilled vinegar, 5% acidity. You need a container large enough to fully submerge the pan. A plastic storage bin from a dollar store works perfectly. You need a stiff bristle brush, a natural fiber brush, or a plastic bristle dish scrubber. Total materials cost $3.14. Step 2 is the submersion soak. Fill your container with equal parts white vinegar and cold water, a 1-to-1 ratio. Fully submerge your cast iron pan. Set a timer for 8 hours. Do not go past 12 hours. The acid will dissolve the rust completely, but extended exposure past 12 hours begins chelating the iron itself, which creates minor surface pitting. 8 hours is the exact window. Walk away. Step 3 is removal and rinse. Pull the pan at the 8-hour mark. The rust will wipe away with almost no pressure. Rinse immediately and completely under hot running water for 3 full minutes. Dry it thoroughly, either with a towel immediately followed by 7 minutes in a 200-degree oven. Any remaining moisture causes flash rust within 23 minutes. Step 4 is reseasoning. Apply a paper-thin coat of flaxseed oil or Crisco shortening. Bake at 450 degrees for 1 hour. Done. Total investment: $3.14 and 23 minutes of active effort. Compare that to professional cast iron restoration services charging between $65 and $110 for the exact same result. I need to be completely honest with you about one thing. This method has two real limitations, and you deserve to know them. First, if your cast iron has deep structural pitting, meaning the rust has eaten through the iron wall itself and created physical holes, vinegar cannot restore structural integrity. The chemistry removes rust. It does not fill metal. Second, on extremely thin, low-grade modern cast iron reproductions under 3 mm wall thickness, the 8-hour soak can occasionally cause minor surface etching. Use a 4-hour soak instead on thin pans. But here is what actually matters. On every traditional, genuine cast iron piece, this method works completely. Every time. Your grandmother knew this. She kept a jug of vinegar under the sink. Not for salad. For everything. The cast iron pan that fed 7 people through the Depression. The garden tools that worked for 34 consecutive years. The iron Dutch oven that crossed 3 states in the back of a wagon before it ever touched a kitchen shelf. Then industry convinced an entire generation that their grandmother's knowledge was primitive, unsanitary, outdated. There was not a better way. There was just a more expensive way. Think about the cast iron skillet sitting in your garage right now, orange with rust, waiting to be thrown away. Think about the antique pan at the estate sale you passed on because you thought restoration was beyond you. Think about every tool, every piece of iron cookware in your family worth saving. You can save all of it. For $3.14. The cast iron did not die. It was waiting for someone to remember what the industry made us forget. If this vault changed how you see cast iron, and the industry that profits from your confusion, subscribe and share this video now. Every share sends this knowledge to someone the industry prayed would never find it. Every subscription keeps this vault from being locked shut again. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside is even heavier than what you heard today.